Hi students, I am your Dhakshi teacher. Today we are going to do about business studies for grade 9 students, chapter number 31. We are going to do about ratio analysis. So what do you mean by ratio analysis? What do you mean by ratios? Ratios is we compare two mathematical components. That means we compare two related elements with each other. It's a mathematical formulas. So what we do is in business studies we calculate two profitability and the liquidity ratios. Profitability and the liquidity ratios. In profitability ratios, we calculate the profits of the business, the ability of the profits the business can earn. And then in the liquidity, we try to understand how much the money the business have in the hand. It's like in the profitability we are going to see how much the profits the business can earn, and in liquidity how much of enough cash they have in their business. So under profitability we have four ratios. First one is the gross profit margin. Gross profit margin is we are going to find out how much of gross profit we earn as a percentage to the revenue. So we always take gross profit in the numerator and the revenue as a denominator. So gross profit is always the up and the revenue is always the down, and we multiply that by 100. Why 100? Because to get as a percentage. So gross profit we see it as a percentage to sales. Sales income we call as revenue, that we call as gross profit margin. And then we have the operating profit margin. What do you mean by operating profit margin? In operating profit margin, we see how much of expenses and the cost that business have incurred in relation to the revenue, the sales income. And we multiply by the 100 to get it as a percentage. And then we go for the third ratio, that's also profitability ratios, the markup. Markup means markup is used mainly by the producers, not the consumers. It is used for the pricing. We got to know if we sell 1 unit of an item, how much the profit we get. So we always get the profit per item up, and then you divide it by the cost per item and you multiply by 100 to get as a percentage. So if you have a price, say you bought a marker pen for 100 rupees and you need the 25% of markup. So you add the cost with the markup and you get the profit. So mostly this is used by the producers of the business. And then we have return on capital employed. What do you mean by return on capital employed? This is the return the owner is expecting from the money that he invested. When you start a business, the businesses invest money, and when they invest money they expect a return. The return, how much the return they get is the return on capital employed, and you get it multiplied by 100, you get as a percentage. Then we go hit with the liquidity ratio. Liquidity ratio measures how much of cash you have in your business. If the business runs out of the cash, it goes as a shutdown businesses. So when we measure the liquidity, we use two ratios. First one is the current ratio. What do you mean by current ratios? We see how much of assets and the liabilities. What assets and liabilities? We always see the current assets and the current liabilities. By using the current assets, how we can settle our current liabilities. That we say as the current ratio. By using the current assets, how much we can settle our current liability. That we use as a current ratio. And then we have the acid test ratio. Acid test ratio is same as current liability, but we don't take inventory into our estimation. We just minus the inventory from the current assets. But it's the same equation when you see. It's current liabilities and current liabilities. When we minus the inventory from this, because we don't take inventory into the consideration in the acid test ratio. But most crucial one among this is the acid test ratio. We always go for the acid test ratio because it's accurate amount that we keep. So we have two ratios, profitability and the liquidity. Under profitability we have four. It's gross profit margin, operating profit margin, markup and ROCI. And then we have the liquidity ratios. Under that we have current ratios and the acid test ratios. Why do the businesses make ratios? It's just to compare their business performance with the same industry businesses. We make ratios, we find answers to get to know, to compare with the same industry businesses. Example, to compare Adidas with Bata. So we get to know the performance of the business. And when we are measuring the current ratio, and if we get an answer below 1.5, that means the businesses are not in suitable level to settle their current liabilities. That means they run out of their cash. And once it's come to acid test ratio, if you get an answer below 1, that means your business is not able to settle any external loans. So I hope that you guys understood the lesson today. Stay home, stay safe. God bless you all.